Okay, I'm making another video, and pardon the noise in the background. This is a day that there's a game on. All the dogs are in my room because they don't like people screaming at the TV. So anyway, if you hear that in the background, that's just all that is. Now, this picture I'm showing you here, I got that off of a website. It shows the hydrogen wave function. A lot of my orbs have these sort of things in them. I'm going to point out some of them, like this one right here I'm pointing to. That's before it has an orbit. It just looks like that. The atom looks like a circle. And this is supposed to be the hydrogen atom. And it makes these little orbitals, and you'll see some of these very ones, and I'll be pointing them out, especially this one right here. Right there. I get that one a lot. So, just wanted to tell you that and also show you an example of some of these hydrogen orbitals right away. But they'll be all dispersed in the different orbs I'll be showing you. This is another one that I got off of a website, and this is the what they call the subatomic particles way of self-propelling. I get that as well in my orbs. And you can see that pattern here, that self-propelling. So that is one reason that I think I am on to something about filming these orbs and seeing into the tiniest little things. Like we really, even really great microscopes that are very costly don't see this sort of thing. Now, that may be true, you say, or may not be, but that's what I'm thinking this is. I want to show you a series of just a portion of the orb. It's the upper left-hand side. And there's these three little, you'll notice these three little atoms. And they'll be in the next picture, see? But now they have two bigger ones behind them. And you'll see, if you keep your eyes trained to that area, you'll see that those three just change around, things that are around them change, and their positioning to one another changes. Now see, here they are in this one. Different colors. Here they are in a bigger portion. Now, this thing you see right here, this little doodaddy here, and this little bean-looking thing, those two things are artifacts. They appear to be in my camera because they always show up on the picture in the same vicinity, always. So I'm thinking there's something stuck in my camera. However, I think whatever it is looks a whole lot like some of the things that are in the orbs. So I can't figure that one out. But there, that one is again in the little bean one. I'll be pointing out some more artifacts. That's what I call them, artifacts. And there's the three little circles. And this time the two bigger ones are under them. So all this stuff sort of moves around. Now you see the three, they're arranged a little differently than that. I go to the next one. Oh, they're way up here. And there they are in that one. And there's that little artifact. You'll soon see more of my artifacts when I show you the complete orb. This is just an upper left-hand part of the orb that I zoomed in on. And you can see there's bigger circles that are just, you can just sort of see the outline of them that are maybe on another level. And then there's all the little tiny ones. All of these little, they're more like a little ring, but they have a little white spot in them. And sometimes it's not a white spot, but like in these up here, it's darker. The center is darker. See, they're dark in these three. Anyway, I study this just to see what I can consistently see from one to another. I don't know what any of this really is. I conjecture a lot about what it is. But I'm just going to always notice it in my pictures. Not that I have any real explanation. There's those three again. There they are in that one. There they are in that one. And the real colorful part over here, I think, is a hydrogen orbital. And I'll show you some more of those that are smaller, because the hydrogen orbitals become very colorful. Now, okay, you can see the entire orb here. And here's those three in that corner over there. And all of these orbs have these two little eye sockets. One's right here and one is right there, but it's in the dark area, see? So you can't really make it out. But like in the next one, you can see them real clear, see? The two eye sockets. With this camera, and I don't know why, the other camera I use doesn't put little eye sockets into each orb. It perhaps doesn't capture the same spectrum of light that this one particular camera catches. But it puts two little eye socket things into each orb, always in the same vicinity, always a little below center and to the right. And if there were like 4 or 5 orbs in the same picture, all the orbs would have the two eye sockets in the same. And there's those three there, and see there's bigger circles under them. So some of the things are staying consistent about the things that move around that aren't what I call my artifacts. Now, you can see a lot of my artifacts with this one. There's this series of little black, dark dots. There's one, there's one, there's one, and way down here is one. And they're kind of on a diagonal. I can't say that word. Anyway, and there's this little dark thing here that if I lighten it up, it looks like a little fairy. And there's my double jointed one way down at the bottom. You can't really see that one too good. And see, there's the three of these again. And some other things in this orb. The colors are always changing. There's those three in this one. Here's an artifact I call the longer bean looking thing. And this little artifact right here was my very first one to ever have. The artifacts just started coming one by one. Here's the little fairy. She looks a little more defined here. I'll bring it up big. There's a portion of the double jointed one. And I probably have some new artifacts that I haven't even noticed yet. There's one up here I call the ant. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like a little ant. So I just give them names. Okay, let me go to the next picture. There's those three little atoms all lined up. They seem to be a group to themselves, but other things get behind them or in front of them. I don't know where anything really is. I know there's dimensions and layers to all this, but whether something's in front of or behind, I can't really tell. But the colors, it's just so amazing, the colors that will be in these orbs. There's those three again in that. I'm always trying to figure something out with all this, but it's just impossible to do. But I do know things that are consistent and show some kind of similarity in every one of the pictures. There's the two sockets in this one, eye sockets. And there's the three little rings. And over here, right, if you can see where I'm pointing, this always looks pretty similar, this little area right here. Really weird looking. See how it looks in the next one. Doesn't show up real good in the next one. But there's those three up there. Those three that like to stay together. They're a clique, I guess. Now this one's beginning to show some curved line balls. If you're not familiar with my work, let me let the dog go. One of the dogs wants to brave it out there into the room where they're watching the game. I guess she decided not to be scared. Okay. There's another one. Eye sockets, the 3 up there. All this stuff that's kind of all weird looking over here in this far right. Certain things just seem to repeat themselves, but they look a little different. Somehow a little different in each one. So I'm just going to show you a few and see how far we can go before I run out of time. I'm at 11 minutes, okay? I can show you a few more. See all that part here that looks really weird? It looks like there's circles, but there's circles that cross it in the middle that are making it look like lines going through it. And then sometimes these straight lines of color come across. I never know what they are, or, they're different than the circles, but they're just long streaks of color. Oh, they're screaming at the game again. Okay. I have quite a few lined up here to show you. Because people like to look. They just like to look at some of the different things I'm capturing. Let me see if I can get this better in the picture. Okay. And then colorful things just appear in the orbs. But this all is so changing. It's like it's there 1 minute and the next it's not. Or the next second it's not. And look at that area right there that I tell you is kind of weird looking. There's the 3 little atoms that stay together all the time in vicinity of one another, but things around them change. See, there they are again in this one, and there's 3 bigger ones kind of in the background of it. And there they are again. See, when you look at enough orb pictures like I do, you start saying, okay, what is similar in each one? But you never can figure out what it all means. Maybe someday I'll know. I'll get information on it. But as yet, I don't. Except about the curved line balls, I have got information on that. And I'll show you when I get to the curved line balls. I'll talk about that a little bit. I'll just go through some of these. And you notice in each one, it's still got those 3 little atoms up there that are staying together. There they are in that one. And these rings have concentric rings around them, but you don't always see all of the concentric ring because there's other stuff that interferes. But I bet if this didn't interfere or come over it in such a way that it hides it, that ring would go all the way around right there. We're just seeing parts of the rings because some of them are out of view. Okay, here's a beginning of a curved line ball. 2 of them. They always come as 2 opposite of each other. And that is what I got a communication from. In my Google Drive, I got a communication telling me what they were, that the curved line balls were energy in the process of being bonded into matter. Well, that's pretty important. This right here, I think, is a hydrogen orbital. And here's another one down here. Because becomes bonded into matter, then maybe it will enter into this third dimension and be a physical object. Because the communication I had suggested that that would happen for me. Something that I had just imagined I would like to manifest, and I had told nobody about it. But in the message that came to me that told me that those curved line balls were energy being bonded into matter, said this energy is intelligent. All this that you're looking at, it's intelligent. And it said it knew for me what it was that I wanted, so it could read my mind. And that was like, wow, that's kind of hard for people to believe. And if you doubted me, I wouldn't blame you at all. If somebody else told me the same thing, I might doubt them. But since it happened to me, I believed me because I did not write the message that came into my Google Drive about what I was looking at in these orbs. Just the fact that I'm getting them in the first place is amazing. These are some of the curved line balls, but they're kind of stretched out. They stretch and multiply and morph until you can't recognize them as the curved line balls anymore. See, there's the beginning of some right here. I'm going to go rather fast because I'm at 16 minutes. There's so many little smaller, tiny, or rings. And let me pull you up real close in that, and you'll see that even the background behind these tiny rings looks circular, but it's also encrusted. It's like an incrustation of circular things that are way down deeper in. That's what it reminds me of. It's like everything's made with circles. And there's Harry. And in this picture of Harry, Harry is a little light creature that I see real often. And in this one, he has a little black thing right there at the end of that little appendage of his. And it's in the next two pictures too, that little black thing. It's like a little baby or something. Maybe he had a child. I don't know. But that's Harry, and there's a little thing beside him that is not usually there. Because I see Harry a lot, and now he's not usually got something like that beside him. No, it's a strange, strange world, and I can't talk about it to just anyone, hardly anyone. I can't talk about it to my family. They're not interested. They don't want to think of me as someone about to go crazy on them, and I know they fear that. And I don't blame them for fearing that because they don't understand this. It didn't happen to them. They're not seeing it. But they also don't pay any attention to me being able to get the actual picture of what I can see with the naked eye. I see some of this, not all, but I see the little rings for sure. Look at this one. It looks like the colors are just falling like water over the edge of that orb there into another orb. Reminds me of that movie called What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, where he was in that world where he just stepped through what looked like paint, but it didn't get on him or didn't hinder him in any way. So this reminds me of that. Now, I've been having a lot of difficulty with my eyes because one eye, it's like I can't see out of it. If I shut my right eye, with my left eye, I see a big splotch of darkness that's kind of got a violet color to it and streaks in it. And then if I'm looking at something with that left eye that's real lit up like a light, or even my computer screen because it's lit up, then it's fluorescent violet. It's like the ultraviolet. I'm seeing into the ultraviolet. And it used to be I would only see that for like 20 minutes at a time. Every day or two I would see it. But now lately, this last 2 days, that one eye has been seeing that constantly. And it's a little bit annoying because it makes vision mostly through my right eye. I'm seeing things, and with my left eye, I've got that big kind of a dark circle with the purple in it, the violet color in it. I don't know what it all means, but it's a little bit hard to deal with these last couple of days because when I'm outdoors, especially the sun shining in my face, it kind of hurts. Not terribly bad, but I know something's going on with my eyes. Before I started having it with this eye all the time, I started seeing movement in the air, like little puffs of wind going this way and that, little currents that were they're almost invisible. I don't even know how I could say I saw them because they're transparent little movements of energy. It's like the atmosphere in front of you is boiling or something like that. But that stopped, and now I just have the trouble seeing out of that eye and waiting on this to clear up or become better, or maybe be something that will enable me to see something that I don't now see. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I already see a lot of things that are hard to explain to others. But I have hope, and I pray that it'll all be all right, that it'll be something good, what's happening with that eye. Especially since I'm going on a cruise September the 10th. I want to be able to see good. I don't want my vision to be impaired. Now, here's 2 little spots of, I think, whirling hydrogen orbitals, but they're hard to see because they just get too bright. Here's one a little more clear, but it's not whirling. Here's a couple. When they whirl, sometimes it makes a color all around them that looks like circles around it. And I think that is a hydrogen orbital before it does anything. It's on that list. It shows that's how it looks before it has the other motions that make it look like more than one. Like this one. See, that one has 4 little spots of light around one in the center, and then it's got these little circles all around it. So many things in these orbs have concentric circles around them. So there's 2 more pictures of those swirling. And these look like strings going into black holes. More of the curved line balls. That's my own definition. I made that up because I said, well, they're curved lines and they make like they're making a ball, but you never really see the complete ball. And at first when you see them, they look like this, like a little X. But that evolves. Then they get bigger, and sometimes they get different colors in them. And they sort of get fat. And I call these curved line balls that look more like little bats. And here's some in this very colorful orb. You can see the curved line balls. Curves going that way and curves going facing downward. And I put in there the bonding of energy, because that's what I think it is. If I can believe the communication that came to me, which I think I do. It's very important what I believe to be true, or what anyone else believes to be true, because there's only one person you have to convince, and that's yourself. Because when you convince yourself, then you come into a knowing that is powerful. And am I completely convinced? I don't think so yet. But I'm on my way to being completely convinced. And in the meantime, I'm getting beautiful pictures of orbs. I like to share them with others. I want others to get excited about them. But I understand if they don't, it's because they're not getting these pictures themselves. And I tell people how to go about getting pictures like this. And I would love to hear from anyone who uses my method of the way I do it. I've explained that many times before in other videos. "25 minutes. This is going to cut off at any time, so I'm going to go rather fast and show you some more orbs. That's an unusual one, the way it's doing there. I don't know what it's doing. I never know what anything is. Here's some bullseyes. I call them bullseyes. And there's those hydrogen orbitals again that I pointed out. I had put a picture or two in here to show people. A spinning orbital. This first got my attention when I first noticed the curved line balls. It was this picture here. And I thought, my goodness, that looks like a cocoon, and it looks like they're birthing out of a cocoon. For all the world, that's what that looks like to me. But I see them in all kinds of formations, not just coming out like this. But that one picture here, that's what it looks like. And I'm going to end it here because I'm at 27 minutes. I don't want to make this too long. And this is the Dove Lady, and I've been rattling on. I know I sound kind of silly sometimes, but I'm talking about something that not much is known about. And so it necessarily has to sound that way because this is a thing that we don't know a whole lot about. And if you yourself have some inclination as to what I'm looking at, I'd love to hear from you. And I call myself the Dove Lady. And this is the Dove Lady saying goodbye for now. Over and out, and talk to you later.